Welcome to my channel. History calls those men the greatest who have ennobled themselves by working for the common good. Experience acclaims as happiest the man who has made the greatest number of people happy. If we have chosen the position in life in which we can most of all work for mankind, no burdens can bow us down, because they are sacrifices for the benefit of all. Then we shall experience no petty, limited, selfish joy, but our happiness will belong to millions. Our deeds will live on quietly, but perpetually at work, and over our ashes will be shed the hot tears of noble people. As Prometheus, having stolen fire from heaven, begins to build houses and to settle upon the earth, so philosophy, expanded to be the whole world, turns against the world of appearance. The same now with the philosophy of Hegel. Real tailors have the same existence that the imagined gods have. Has a real tailor any existence except in the imagination, if only in the general or rather common imagination of man? Bring paper money into a country where this use of paper is unknown, and everyone will laugh at your subjective imagination. Greek philosophy seems to have met with something with which a good tragedy is not supposed to meet, namely, a dull ending. What is genuine is proved in the fire. What is false we shall not miss in our ranks. The opponents must grant us that youth has never before flocked to our colors in such numbers. In the end, one will be found among us who will prove that the sword of enthusiasm is just as good as the sword of genius. The representation of private interests abolishes all natural and spiritual distinctions by enthroning in their stead the immoral, irrational, and soulless abstraction of a particular material object and a particular consciousness which is slavishly subordinated to this object. Political economy came into being as a natural result of the expansion of trade, and with its appearance elementary, unscientific huckstering was replaced by a developed system of licensed fraud, an entire science of enrichment. This is a kind of mutual reconciliation society. Actual extremes cannot be mediated with each other precisely because they are actual extremes. But neither are they in need of mediation, because they are opposed in essence. The weapon of criticism cannot, of course, replace criticism of the weapon. Material force must be overthrown by material force, but theory also becomes a material force soon as it has gripped the masses. Theory is capable of gripping the masses as soon as it demonstrates ad hominem. And it demonstrates ad hominem as soon as it becomes radical. To be radical is to grasp the root of the matter, but for man, the root is man himself. Religious suffering is, at one and the same time, the expression of real suffering and a protest against real suffering. Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the heart of a heartless world, and the soul of soulless conditions. It is the opium of the people. The state is based on this contradiction. It is based on the contradiction between public and private life, between universal and particular interests. For this reason, the state must confine itself to formal, negative activities. When communist artisans associate with one another, theory, propaganda, etc. is their first end. But at the same time, as a result of this association, they acquire a new need, the need for society, and what appears as a means becomes an end. The brotherhood of man is no mere phrase with them, but a fact of life, and the nobility of men shines upon us from their work-hardened bodies. The only intelligible language in which we converse with one another consists of our objects in their relation to each other. We would not understand a human language, and it would remain without effect. By one side it would be recognized and felt as being a request, an entreaty, and therefore a humiliation. Political economy regards the proletarian like a horse. He must receive enough to enable him to work. It does not consider him, during the time when he is not working, as a human being. It leaves this to criminal law, doctors, religion, statistical tables, politics, and the beetle. The entire movement of history as simply communism's actual act of genesis, the birth act of its empirical existence, is therefore, for its thinking consciousness, the comprehended and known process of its becoming. Under private property, each tries to establish over the other an alien power, so as thereby to find satisfaction of his own selfish need. The increase in the quantity of objects is therefore accompanied by an extension of the realm of the alien powers to which man is subjected, and every new product represents a new potentiality of mutual swindling and mutual plundering. A few days in my old man's factory have sufficed to bring me face to face with this beastliness, which I had rather overlooked. It is impossible to carry on communist propaganda on a large scale and at the same time engage in huckstering and industry. Communism is for us not a state of affairs which is to be established, an ideal to which reality will have to adjust itself. We call communism the real movement, which abolishes the present state of things. The conditions of this movement result from the premises now in existence. The premises from which we begin are not arbitrary ones, not dogmas, but real premises from which abstraction can only be made in the imagination. They are the real individuals, their activity, and the material conditions under which they live, both those which they find already existing and those produced by their activity. These premises can thus be verified in a purely empirical way. Morality, religion, metaphysics, all the rest of ideology, and their corresponding forms of consciousness, thus no longer retain the semblance of independence. They have no history, no development. But men developing their material production and their material intercourse alter, along with this, their real existence, their thinking and the products of their thinking. For each new class which puts itself in the place of one ruling before it is compelled, merely in order to carry through its aim, to represent its interest as the common interest of all the members of society, that is, expressed in ideal form. It has to give its ideas the form of universality, and represent them as the only rational, universally valid ones. As far as Feuerbach is a materialist, he does not deal with history, and as far as he considers history, he is not a materialist. The question whether objective truth can be attributed to human thinking is not a question of theory, but is a practical question. The hand mill gives you society with the feudal lord, the steam mill society with the industrial capitalist. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon and like the video. Thanks.